Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om. Next is the 16th chapter. Okay, I think we should note down 16th chapter. In this past tense we are going to learn. Okay, so as I told you, there are 6 tenses, 4 moods, totally 10. Lakaras we call them. Lakara. Lakara means Panini used an artificial name, La. With La, he has given, La is a common name for all tenses and moods. For that he added like this. First is Lat, second is Li. No, first he wrote few are takara ending, few are ngakara ending. Tit, ngit. Ta is this, see, and nga, ngit. Tit, ngit. It means something which is additionally added, artificially added. So, first is La, Li, Lu, Le, Lo. Isn't it? La, Li, Lu, Le, Lo. It is simply akara sequence, alphabetical sequence. So in these things you add the ta. First you add the ta, what happens?
Let.
Second?
Lit. Lut. Late. Lot.
That's all. Then nga, lang,
Lung.
ling,
Ling.
lung.
Lung. Ling.
No. After lung, no ling, lo.
Okay.
Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, there are only up to 3 only. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are tit, 3 are ngit. Within this, the same thing you take it. Here you add the ta. You add the ta to this. Now next is you add the nga. What happens? Lang, ling, lung, that's all. 3. So this is called nga is it. It means, as I told, is an artificially added tentatively. Is called it. It means that which is added and later it will go away. Tentatively added. So ngit and tit. These are tit. 5 are tit, 3 are ngit. So 5 plus 3, 8. So here 1 or 2 places the names are what is that? In ling there are 2 lings, Vidiling, Ashirling. That makes it 9. In 10th, I think in one of the again becomes 2. Totally they become 10. That is the idea. I think you take your Shabda Manjari or Dhatu Manjari. Somewhere, I think at the end Shabda Manjari, I forgot, I'll tell you. Lat, lang, lung, lit, lut, ಇನ್ನೊಂದಿದೆ ಲುಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ lu, where is that? In these things one more. La, li, lu. This is lo. Lo. That's just a light is lo. Then same thing. See, lut, lit, luttu, luttu, late, lot, lung, ling, lung, lung. This makes it 10. In these things, this late is used in Veda alone. Therefore, one becomes less. Totally 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 plus 4, 11. Out of the 11, 1 goes away. Because that's a Vaidika Prayoga. So remaining 10. These are the 10. So lut, lung, luttu, lit, luttu, luttu, lot, ling, and lung. Okay, all these things. So these are very difficult to remember because there is no logical order, and these are all artificial names. But anyway, we are not interested in these things. We learn these things only when we learn the Panini's grammar. Since you asked, I just explained it. We leave it. Now we come to the point. Among the 6 tenses, 1 present tense, 3 past tenses, 2 future tenses. Moods we will tell later. 4 moods, 6 tense. Okay, 6 tenses. 1 Vartamana Kala, present. Okay, 3 past tenses, 2 future tenses. Okay. So in first book of Bhandarkar, we learn the 1 present tense, 1 past tense, which is easy and commonly used. Other 2 are little difficult. Both of them are difficult. The other 2 are complicated. You can learn at a later stage. So for the beginners, what is commonly used and very easy and interesting, those things alone he covered in the first book. Other things, he postponed it to the second volume. Second volume covers most complicated, all of them. But after learning the first book, when you go to the second, you don't feel so much complicated because you become familiar with Sanskrit and certain things. But the traditional way is, they just don't see which is complicated, which is easy. They club up all together. First day alone, they start with the complicated, and the simpler they will tell the second. They have got certain order. They just follow the blind order. That's all. Whatever comes, they go cover. It looks very difficult, but that's how they cover. They just go by that order alone. So that way Bhandarkar, he simplified it, made it much easier. So in the first book we learn 1 present tense. Then coming futures, we don't learn all the 2 futures we learn. Futures in a way easy, but I don't know, he is covering in the next second volume alone. So out of the 3 past tenses, one is a general past. Okay. General past is called Adyatana. Adyatana Bhutakala. Atava Samanya Bhutakala. Instead of why Adyatana, simply say Samanya Bhutakala. They call some kind of aorist. They put a name aorist, but it's more complicated. So Samanya Bhutakala. Second is Anadyatana. Anadyatana is imperfect. imperfect past. It is anadyatana. Adya means today. Adyatana pertaining to today. Adyatana andre today's. Anadyatana except today means something before. Yesterday or something before, not today. It means anadyatana, not today. Literally, if you translate it, is not today. Anadyatana bhutakala. Past tense of not today. If you take literally, just to remember. But the idea implied is something little past. Then the third is remote past, or we call it past perfect. Perfect past. Does he say that? Past tense. He is calling simply past tense. Paroksha bhutakala. Remote paroksha bhutakala. Remote past. We call in Sanskrit paroksha bhutakala. Samanya bhuta means it is a general past. Now the second is something past little before. So the difference between, how do you understand? In English also there is such a thing. You can say, he did, he has done. What is the difference between them? He did or he has done, or he went or he has gone. So he has gone indicates the completion of an action, not when. He went means it indicates at some time in the past. Therefore, in English, when you have to mention a certain time in the past, yesterday, you have to specify how, when past. Past means at what time in the past. Yesterday, a few days ago, or some time back, you have to mention. Past means at what time, at how long ago, you have to mention that. When you want to say a simple completion of an object, he has come. He came means when, you have to say. He came, that immediately when, you have to say. He came when, you have to say. Simply say he has come, it only shows that a completion of an action. Not when, it doesn't say when in the past. In the past, when, at what time, it doesn't say that. In English, we have past indefinite and present imperfect. Present imperfect is he has come. That's why when somebody comes, generally we ask, yavaga bandiddiri? Somebody has come, a visitor has come. You didn't know when he came. So when you ask him, what do you ask? Do you ask when have you come, or when did you come?
When did you?
Because when you are asking a specific time in the past, if you say you have come only shows that the completion of an action, that means he has come. He has come is visible. You can't ask that. When have you come, you can't ask. When did you come? Then he has to say, I came, then what? A while ago, or 1 hour ago, yesterday, a day before, some time back, few days back. You have to specify the time in the past. Then when you say, I came, so and so. So this is the past tense. Similarly, Samanya Bhuta indicates a general completion of an action. Therefore, we call it Samanya Bhutakala. But in second one is Anadyatana Bhutakala. When we say it is a lung, ಇದು ಲಿಟ್ ಲಂಗ್, ಇದನ್ನೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಲುಂಗ್ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಐರಿಸ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲುಂಗ್ ಭೂತ. ಅನದ್ಯತನ, this is lung. You want this thing, is all complicated Panini structures. This is lung. La, nga. This is ling. This is lit. You can leave them, it's not necessary. Only in Panini's grammar alone we learn. So those are not interested, you can just skip them. You can just ignore them. Samanya bhuta, anadyatana bhuta, paroksha bhuta. Samanya is a general completion of an action. For example, abhut, aitu. Abhut, that's all. Bhudhatu, if you take, this form is abhut. This form is abhavat. Abhavat means when immediately comes. Yesterday. That's why you see anadyatana. In Sanskrit, instead of calling samanya bhuta, they call it is a bhuta, it is a anadyatana bhuta. Anadyatana means completed but not today, something before today. So don't take literally before today and all that. The idea is at some time in the past. It is a simple indication of a completion of an action. Samanya bhuta is, as like in English, Samanya bhutakala indicates a completion of an action. This indicates at some time in the past. Yeah, this remote past, this paroksha bhutakala is a peculiar to Sanskrit. You don't find in any, even in English also, I had come, I had seen. In the past, imperfect also doesn't refer to this. This paroksha bhuta is unique to Sanskrit, you don't have it. Paroksha bhutakala is used as a lit lakara. For this, for example, let us take the bhu dhatu. The same bhu dhatu in the samanya bhuta is abhut. Second is abhavat. This third is babhuva. Babhuva, chakara. Have you ever seen? Chakara. Kru dhatu, kru karoti. Kru karoti ki idu akar sheet aguttade. Akaravam aguttade. Chakara aguttade. Like that. Apatit, apatat, papata. Like that, all this complicated form. So the idea is paroksha bhuta. The forms we shall learn later. First see the very basic usage so that you see the distinction and you understand. Paroksha bhuta kala. Paroksha means when in the absence of the speaker, when I am speaking, the event happened when I was not present. So when I was not present means what are the conditions, what are the occasions when I myself was not present. I am talking about an event, then I was not present. What are they? One is historical events before I was born. In all historical events, this paroksha bhutakala is used. Historical events means before I was born, something happened. Second is when in my absence, though I am alive, but in my absence somebody did it, then this can be used. Or sometime else in a dream condition, in a semi-conscious, in a delirium, semi-conscious conditions, if you say something, then you have to use paroksha bhutakala. Oh, nanu hige madiddanante. Oh, they say that I have done like that. That means it is not my complete consciousness, a kind of semi-consciousness, or in a dream, or in some such thing. Therefore, we use say paroksha bhutakala. Okay, so paroksha bhutakala is complicated. This first one is not so complicated, but it has got within that there are varieties, 5 to 7 varieties. Some take some form, another form. Making the forms becomes a little difficult. This is a little simpler and easy. If one you learn, other thing becomes easy. Therefore, he is covering this imperfect anadyatana bhuta. This distinction I told you. Now I say this paroksha bhutakala is used. Used means in what sense I have explained now, the same meaning is maintained even now. That means it is used in the sense of the past, remote past. So, but these two are got intermingled. These days, when you have to say general past, this is used. When you have to say sometime in the past, even this is used. These two got mixed up. Though Vyakarana says, Panini says this is the usage of them, but in usage they get slightly mixed up. The problem, sometimes rarely they use this also. Why they have started using? Because Sanskrit is mostly shlokamaya. More than the prose, it is mostly of shlokas. So in shlokas, the chandas maintaining the meter, the alphabets, the hrasva dirgha, that is important. Sometimes the meter doesn't suit. So if suppose this form abhavat doesn't suit for the meter, though it is not remote past, it happened right in front of me, still he uses babuva.
Oh, okay.
Because for sake of meter, they just violate it. They take freedom. Violate in the means they know it. It is to be used only in remote past, but just take license and just use it. Because for sake of suiting the meter. So seeing these few exceptional usages, certain people start using them also indiscriminately. A few people, not everywhere, but generally this paroksha bhuta is used in paroksha. These things also generally maintained, but sometimes they get mixed up.
Okay.
But still, some people maintain, it is generally maintaining this difference is good. Abhut means it just happened. Abhavat means when you have to say yesterday, hyaha abhavatu, atava gatamase, gatadine. Yesterday means gatadine. You have to say mention sometime in the past, abhavat. Abhut means it's just general completion. So nowadays these modern speakers, they just, this alone they use it for everything. Samskrita Bharati. When somebody, I asked one girl, her father is a Sanskrit scholar, is a principal, retired principal of a Sanskrit Kalashala, traditional man.
Okay.
I met in his house alone, just talking to people, she also came. I asked her, what have you studied? She says, BA Abhavat. She just completed BA. She says, BA Abhavat. That means they understood, they just use indiscriminately anything. BA Abhut, she should have told. Because I have completed BA. BA Abhut. So she says BA Abhavat. Because her father speaks, she also speaks Sanskrit. So BA Abhavat, she told. So then, see, more, as I told you, if you are more learned, more difficult to live in the world. If you are more learned, more difficult to live in the world, because people just make mistakes, talk anything. To live among the people, you should, if you are a more learned, as your knowledge increases, your patience also should increase. A lot of tolerance, lot of nonsense. People do not know anything, talk. So, more you learn, more you require patience. People commit mistakes. Not only commit mistakes, boldly assert. They say they alone are right and you are wrong, they assert. Now, this is the goes on. So, those who know, they alone know. Very few people know anything. So, this is the problem. Anyway, so you leave it. So, imperfect is using. Okay. So, this means generally, sometimes in the past. Okay. Now we'll proceed with this thing. How to make these forms. So in Bhandarkar first book, that imperfect he is using, or we say anadyatana bhutakala. He says imperfect are first pretty right tense. I think Latin word he brought it, even I don't understand. Pretty right tense. I don't know what is that. Pretty right tense. Okay. Now we have present tense we know. Panini method is for all the 10 tenses, 6 tenses and 4 modes, first he gives the basic pratyayas. And he keeps on adding, subtracting, deriving all tenses, deriving all other tenses. So what are the first basic ones? Ti. Tas. Anti. Okay. Si. Thus. Tha. Me. Was. Mas. These are the basic pratyayas. To this, by slightly adding, he makes the present tense, then past tense, then all tenses he derives from this by adding, subtracting, adding, subtracting. So, one rule is for the past tense. This past tense, let us take. A is added in the beginning of the word. A. Okay? A is added for all those things.
Okay.
One rule. Adding of A. Second, adding alla prefixing. A prefixing. Atagama, they call. Okay. A prefix. Second is this the gunadesha, vruddhyadesha, which you have discussed. They take place normally.
Okay.
Okay. Second is the gunadesha takes place. Let us take bhudhatu. For the bhudhatu, then that a is that gana pratyaya, all of them same. Gunadesha and a pratyaya. That means, it means bhava. Okay. So, bhava formation, sorry, bhava, also we have to add gana pratyaya. So, in the present tense, whatever we have made, that remains up to bhava. It is same. Now, first is a is prefixed. Bhava is there. A bhava. A plus bhava plus. In the suffixes, what changes takes place you have to learn in past tense. One is tas tas thamipam, tam tam tamaha, Panini's rule. Tas. So you see, tas, tha, mi. Panini used a sutra. See how I read it. Tas, thami, pam, tam, tamaha. So in place of these four, tam, tam, ta, ma. Okay. In place of tas becomes a tam. This is tam. This is ta. This is ma. Just ma. In fact, this is need not. These three is enough. Fourth we need not say. One rule is. Another rule is this ti, si, anti. Wherever ti is there, ti, si, mi, and anti. There, the e is ending e is dropped.
Okay.
All ending e's are dropped. So what remains? You can easily. Ta, sa. It is here ma it is. That's why ma is substitute is coming. If simply e is dropped, it would have become agacham. In fact, the same thing happens. I think ma is not applicable here. Ma is applicable for others. Okay. So tisimi, the e is dropped, only ta sa ma remain. In anti, e is dropped. Then in Sanskrit there is like this: a sanyukta akshara at the end of a letter will not come. It has to be added. A vowel has to be added. Vowel illa andre two consonants cannot join without a vowel. Therefore, the ending ta will be dropped. Only an remains.
Okay.
An alone. So okay. For in place of thus, now just see and then later we'll note down. It becomes easy. In place of thus, tam comes. In place of thus, tam comes. In place of tha, ta comes. Then this sas are dropped. Only va ma remains. Isn't it? This is how he derives it. Why complicate? Tell the direct forms, it becomes easy. Those who are interested in grammar, I am telling. Otherwise, you don't have to learn. You just learn. Now, okay. Now this ta. Now I dictate the form. You can learn now. Ta. Shall I write here only? You can read that. So ta. Tam. An. Sa. Tam. Ta. It is ma. Va. Ma. These are ultimately derived forms. From this by watching we can tell what changes have taken place. If you see. So ta tam an, say ta tam an, sa tam ta va ma. This to the bhava added. To the bhava a is added. Let us say abhava. Ta say abhavat, abhavatam, abhavan. Only one a is dropped because it should have been savarna there. Abhavan. It won't become. A will be dropped. Abhavan. Abhavaha. Sa becomes a visarga. Abhavatam. Abhavata. Abhavam. Abhavava. Va becomes a dirgha, like in present tense. Abhavama. You can note down somewhere. Or shall I write here only? Now the derived forms. Abhavat. Abhavatam. There is no place for this. Abhavan. Abhavaha. Abhavatam. Abhavata. Abhavam. Abhavava. Abhavama. You can repeat them few times, it becomes easy. Okay, say abhavat. Abhavatam. Abhavan. Abhavaha. Abhavatam. Abhavata. Abhavam. Abhavava. Abhavama. Then anayati ide. Let us take anayat. Anayatam. Anayan. Anayaha. Anayatam. Anayata.
Anayata.
Anayam.
Anayam.
Anayava.
Anayava.
Anayama.
Anayama.
Like that. Whatever new word comes, any word. So in translation, in each sentence he uses one verb. So since it is a past tense is new to us, in each sentence when one verb occurs, take that verb and repeat all these forms. For example, first sentence Jayati. Jayati becomes Ajayat. Seeing the R, don't think it is a negative. Seeing the R, don't think it is a negative. Ajayat means didn't conquer, not that. Ajayat, he conquered. Abhavat means he was, isn't it? Abhavam, I was, like this. Abhavaha, you were, like that. Past tense. Then another one, Anayat, he took, he carried, like that. Ajayat, he won, he conquered. Ajayat, say.
Ajayat.
Ajayatam. Ajayan. Ajayaha.
Ajayatam. Ajayata. Ajayam. Ajayava. Ajayama.
It is there in Shabda Manjari or Dhatu Manjari you can take. Dhatu Manjari you can take. First, beginning only, more. Go inside. In the contents alone you are looking at. That's beginning. Take one more page. Take one more. These are the pratyayas. Again, see next. I think, this one, that one. Bhavati, bhavataha, present tense. See, he used lat. In the bracket, lat vartamana arthakaha, present tense. Down you see lang anadyatana bhuta arthakaha, imperfect. Now you see abhavat, you can read out.
Abhavat, abhavatam, abhavan, abhavaha, abhavata, abhavatam, abhavata, abhavam, abhavava, abhavama.
Similarly remaining. Okay, so ajayat, ajayatam, we have done it. Now only as dhatu, ad dhatu belong to second conjugation. So since these two dhatus he is using, though it was second conjugation, second gana was not taught, yet he is using these two verbs alone. He thinks that they are off. Of course, asti is commonly used. Atti is not common, but I don't know he is using it, so let us also learn, because he uses them, we have to learn. So asti dhatu, present tense we know. Asti, repeat once. Asti staha.
Asti staha santi.
Asi.
Asi.
Staha. Stha. Asmi. Aswa. Asmi. Swaha. Smaha. So past tense, how do you say? It is a little complicated. Now you can't follow the rule because it belongs to second gana. Take the forms ready made and just remember them. Okay? Now I'll tell you. Asit, you can write. Or shall I write here? In the Shabda Manjari, in Dhatu Manjari it is there, but anyway you can note down. It is at least you will. First is Asit. Asit andre was. He was, she was, it was. Asit. Astam. Asan. Okay. Then Asihi. Astam. Asta. Asam. Asva. Asma. You can repeat a few times, it becomes easy. Asit.
Asit.
Astam. Asan.
Asan.
Asihi.
Asihi.
Asihi. Sorry. Asi. Should be. Asit. First also I made a mistake. Asit, it should be long. Asit, Asit,
Asit, Astam,
Asan, Asihi, Astam,
Astam,
Asta,
Asta,
Asam, Asva,
Asam,
Asma.
Asva, Asma.
In all places, A should be Dirgha. If I made a mistake, correct it. All this, A should be Dirgha. Okay. Where is that second conjugation? I'll tell you, you can see. 37 page. I don't know, he maintained the same page. 37. Page numbers mele. Right side. Sanskrit numbers ಬರ್ತವೆ.
35, 36 has Swamiji. 37.
No. Change the page numbers. He changed his page numbers. 29 37 ಹೇಳ್ತಿ. Number ಬರಲ್ಲ ಎಂದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು. So this is 37. You're seeing 28 and they say 29 and you say 37. Numbers ಬರಲ್ಲ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಮೊದಲು ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡು, ಅಸ್ಥಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಇದೆ. ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಸ್ಥಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಮೇಲೆ. ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ? ಕಮ್ ಟು ದ ಪಾಸ್ಟ್. ಆಸೀತ್, ಆಸ್ತಾಂ, ಆಸನ್, ಆಸೀಹಿ,
ಆಸ್ತಂ, ಆಸ್ತಾ,
ಆಸಂ,
ಆಸಂ, ಆಸ್ವ, ಆಸ್ಮ.
ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಪೇಜ್ ನೋಡು. ಅತ್ತಿ, ಅತ್ತಃ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್.
ಅದ್ ಧಾತು. ಅತ್ತಿ, ಅತ್ತಃ, ಅದಂತಿ, ಅತ್ಸಿ, ಅತ್ತಃ, ಅತ್ತ, ಅದ್ಮಿ, ಅದ್ವ, ಅದ್ಮಃ. ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲರ್ನ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್. ಇದರ ಪಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆದತ್, ಆತ್ತಾಂ, ಆದನ್, ಆದಃ, ಆತ್ತಂ, ಆತ್ತ, ಆದಂ, ಆದ್ವ, ಆದ್ಮ.
ಆದತ್, ಆತ್ತಾಂ.
I think Ada he has not taught anything, I think. That I think only Asit alone. I think Ad he has not used it. See, he has not taught, so I think we can skip it. He has not taught. No, I thought he covers it. He has not covered. So only Asti, Asi alone we will take it. Okay.
ಆದತ್
ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ? Adat. Oh, yeah. Then we have to write it. ಆದತ್, ಆತ್ತಾಂ, ಆದನ್,
ಆದತ್, ಆತ್ತಾಂ, ಆದನ್,
ಆದಹ, ಆತ್ತಂ, ಆತ್ತ,
ಆದಹ, ಆತ್ತಾಂ, ಆತ್ತಂ, ಆತ್ತ.
The difference between is dirgha and rasva. You can't repeat the same. Here it is the tam is a tam. Only that difference. Here it is long, here it is short. In all verbs same thing. Illi attam, illi attam. If that itself make mistake, then there is no difference. Then ma you drop it atta. See, here is the attam, dirgha and ma. Here dirgha becomes rasva. Here the ma is dropped, only asta retained. This, that three difference is only this much. Idakki, idakki, idakki. Difference is only that much. Astam. Illi becomes astam. Means one dirgha is dropped. Next even the ma is dropped. Asta. In all verbs same thing. Illi attam, attam, atta. Again then Adam, Adva, Adma.
Adam, Adva, Adma.
Correct. Adat, Adah, Adam. Okay. Now verb is over. A certain little vocabulary there. We'll finish little vocabulary. And you can go to the translation bag. Little vocabulary. Hechenilla. Not much. So Ajaha. A goat. Ajaha is a masculine like Rama Shabda. Ajaha, Ajau, Ajaha. A goat. Asarata. Sara is an essence. Sarata means having an essence. Asarata, not having any sara, any essence. Means worthlessness, essencelessness. It means worthlessness. Okay, asarata.
Asaranta anta.
Tappu. Asaranta illa, printing mistake. Asarata. So, asarata, essencelessness or worthlessness. It is nissaram also we say. Oh, it is nissaram. Nissaram means worthless, useless. There is no sara in it. Sara andre adakenu stuff illa. It is useless endartha. Then it is like a mala shabda. Asarata, mala, male, mala, asarata, asarate, asarata, like that. Now asha. Asha is a hope. In Kannada, asha is desire. They use asha as a desire. But in asha is Hindi mein asha rakta hu, hope. Hindi mein asha. ತೆಲುಗುನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಶಾ. ಆಶಾ means hope. Only in Kannada, asya means desire. That's very peculiar. But in Hindi, in Sanskrit, in Telugu, in all three places, asha means hope. Asha is like mala, male, mala. Asha, nirasha, we say. Without asha means no hope, hopelessness. Nirasha.
Asha kannadallu ಇದೆ.
Asha ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಇದೆ.
Okay. Okay.
But not oftenly used ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
Okay. Asha, Sanskrit word ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲವೇ? That's why it has to be used. So asha means hope. Okay. Asha, ashe, asha like mala. Next is goshtham, goshtha. It is both linga, m and n. Pullinga, napumsakalinga. So it is goshtha means ಗೋವುಗಳು, ಆ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು, ಪಶುಗಳು ವಾಸ ಮಾಡುವುದಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ? ಕೌಶೆಡ್. ಕೌಶೆಡ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಹಸುಗಳ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ, ಕೌಶೆಡ್. ಗೋಶಾಲ. ಗೋಷ್ಠ, ಗೋಷ್ಠಂ. ಗೋಷ್ಠ, ಗೋಷ್ಠಂ is called ಗೋಶಾಲ. A cow pen. He called it cow pen. Cow pen is old English. I don't know whether I have never heard this thing. ನೀವೇನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಹಸುಗಳ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ. ಓಕೆ. Then another is, it is a pumlinga and Rama Shabda like a Phalam Shabda, both. Now, what is that next?
Grantha.
Gana?
Swamiji. Grantha.
Ayya Rama, a work or a book, correct. A printing mistake in Arthave Aagta illa. Grantha, correct. Grantha. Grantha means a book or any work also, anything which is arranged. Grantha. That's why a work or a book, generally book only. That's why book also is called work. So it's a grantha is a book. Tanayaha, a son. Putraha has come. Now Tanayaha, one more word we learned. Putraha, Tanayaha. Sutaha is also there. Sutaha has come? Not yet. Sutaha, Putraha, Tanayaha. All the three are there. Okay. Puratas. Puratas. So Puratasa becomes Visarga Purataha. Purataha means right in front of you. In the front or in presence. In front, Purataha means right in front of him. Means in his presence. In his presence or in front of him. Purataha. Then Mahishaha. Mahishi we have seen already, queen. Patta Mahishi. Illi Mahishaha is a buffalo. Then Mushti. Mushti is Kannadalli, you have got it, a handful. This Mushti. A closed fist. Mushti means a handful also. Mushti means Mushti means this is a fist. Mushti also means handful. Therefore we say Dhanyasya Mushti. Dhanyasya Mushti andre a handful of grains. Dhanyasya Mushti, a handful of grains. That is an expression. Dhanyasya Mushti, that is a Sanskrit idiomatic expression. A handful of grains ki Dhanyasya Mushti. Okay, Shanaihi. But in Telugu, Mushti means a negative meaning. Mushti means Bhikshuka. Mushti ettukunevadu means Bhikshuka. They use it, mushti means they in fact, not only that, when you are angry, when you want to disdainingly, mushti means there's something like a daridra word we use it. Daridra word, when you want to say angry, I say daridra. Daridra means some kind of a negative word, abusive word like that. Disdaining, something like mushti word has come to mean in Telugu like that. Mushti. Mushti means that bhiksha, beggarly. Mushti Vadu, in fact, Andhra fellows say Mushti Vadu. Mushti Vadu means a beggar. Mushti means, I don't know how it has come, beggar. Means I think each one, he collects from house to house only Mushti of Dhanya. Therefore, Mushti Vadu. Mushti means who takes handful of grain, handful of rice. So he is called a beggar like that. Okay, Shanaihi. Shanaihi means slowly. Shanaihi, slowly. Shanaihi can be used twice, like in Indian languages. They say jaldi or dhire, bade log, dadavaru. In English, you can't use big people, you can't use twice. Small fellows, big people, you can't use like that. In English, big word you can't repeat it. But Indian language we use twice. Bade log. It's a chota aadmi hai, bade log hai. Like that. So, Shanaihi, slowly. When you have to say slowly, you don't repeat in English, but only one. But in Sanskrit you can repeat, Shanaihi. Shanaihi charati. One who goes, charati moves slowly. One who moves slowly is called Shanaischara. Shani Graha, if you can see, compared to all other Grahas, the Grahas which are moving around the sun, Shani is far away. and he moves very slowly. One who is far away moves very slowly. Shani. Therefore, Shanayischaraha, who goes very slowly. Shanaihi ninda a Shani and they called it. In fact, Shanayischaraha. Shanayischaraha andre Shanigraha is slowly he moves. That's why you can see him in each 12 Rashis are there. You know, I think you have this much of basic understanding. In each Rashi, he stays 2.5 years. In each Rashi, 2.5 years. Slowly. Fastest is Moon. Moon within 1 day in one Rashi. 1 day in one Rashi, Moon moves. But Shani, 2.5 years in one Rashi. To make one complete round, 30 years it takes. Like that. Sun takes 1 month in one Rashi. Moon takes 1 day in one Rashi. Sun takes 1. Therefore, in 1 year, he completes 12. But Shani is the most slowest person. Shanai is slowly. Okay, next, Sankatam. Sankatam means some kind of a difficulty came. A perplexity or a difficulty. Then Sabha. Sabha is an assembly or court. Assembly or court. Sankatam is like a phalam phale phalani. Sabha is like mala male mala. Then Samaranganam. Anganam is a field. Samaranganam, Gruhanganam, Sabhanganam. Anganam means an open place. You find little bit in front of your house, anywhere, in front of anything. Sabhanganam, in the field of battle. A field is called Anganam. Angan, it Hindi they say Angan. Angan means an open place. I don't know. Ajira, Angana, ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಪ್ಪ? ಇನ್ನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ? In front of the house open place ಇದ್ದರದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ? ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಯಾರ್ಡ್, ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಯಾರ್ಡ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಯಾರ್ಡ್.
ಮನೆ ಮುಂಭಾಗ, ಹಿಂಭಾಗ.
ನಾವು ಮುಂಭಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಓಪನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಬಿಟ್ ಇಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇನ್ ತೆಲುಗು ವಾಕಿಲಿ. ವಾಕಿಲಿ ಇಸ್ ಓಪನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಲಿಟಲ್. ವರಂಡಾ ಇಸ್ ದ ಓಪನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಪ್ಪ. ಅಂಗಣಂ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ಓಕೆ, ಸಮರ ಇಸ್ ಯುದ್ಧ. ಅಂಗಲ. ಆ ಅಂಗಳ ಇಸ್ ಅಂಗಣಂ. ಈ ಅಂಗಣಮೇ ಅಂಗಲ ಆಯಿತು. ಆಂಗನ್ ಹಿಂದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಂಗನ್ ಅಂಗಲ, ಅಂಗಿಲಿ, ಅಂಗಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ. ನಾ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಗಳ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅಂಗನ್. That's why I asked, is there any relation? That's why I asked repeatedly. Because I myself don't know. Angala. Lana, Lana. La, not La. Angala. Angala is Angan. Angana. Anganam. Angana. Sanskrit Anganam aguttade. Napunsakalinga since it is. So Samara, Yuddhanganam. Yuddha Kshetram. Anganam means a Kshetram, Yuddha Kshetram. Gruhanganam means an Angala in front of your house called Gruhanganam. ಗೃಹಾಂಗಣಂ ಇಸ್ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಸಭಾಂಗಣಂ ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಸಮರಾಂಗಣಂ ಯುದ್ಧದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂಗಣಂ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರೆ ಆ ಏರಿಯಾಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂಗಣಂ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಮರಾಂಗಣಂ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೇನಾ. ಸೊ ದ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಸೇನಾ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಸೇನಾಪತಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲರ್ನ್ಡ್. ನೌ ಸೇನಾ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಕಮ್. ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಸೈನಿಕ ವಿ ಲರ್ನ್ಡ್, ಸೇನಾಪತಿ ವಿ ಲರ್ನ್ಡ್. ನೌ ಹಿಯರ್ ದ ಸೇನಾ. ಸೇನಾ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಮಾಲಾ ಮಾಲೆ ಮಾಲಾ. Now one verb is there, let us learn. Gai. First conjugation, Prathama Gana Parasmai Pada. Gai, like Adi Achu Vriddhi takes place, it becomes Gai Gaya. Gayati. Final vowel, penultimate short vowel takes Guna substitute. So it should take Guna, but instead of Guna it takes Vriddhi. Gai becomes Gai. Gayati. Say that, Gayati. Gayati, Gayatah, Gayati. Okay. Now you have to learn, you can't learn like that. Now each verb when you learn hereafter, you have to note down like this. Okay, time aita, just one word helibidta. So gai is a verb. What you say, first gana parasmai pada. The meaning is to sing. Okay. Then the first form, present tense form is Gayati. Okay. We learnt present tense form. Next, passive form. For passive form, it becomes Giyate. Is sung. Giyate is It is a passive. Giyate. Gayati, say once. Gayati, gayataha, gayanti, like that. This one, giyate, giyete, giyante, giyase, giyete, giyadhe, giye, giyava. Even now, past tense we have to learn, because we have learned this thing now. Each word we have to learn 3 now hereafter. Each verb we have to learn 3 forms. One is present tense form gayati, passive, present passive. Because there is past passive also will be there. That will come later. Now the present form. Giyate. Now past tense is gayati ki agayat. Say agayat, agayatam, agayan, agayah, agayatam, agayata, agayam, agayava, agayama. Hereafter 3 forms. Gayati, present tense form. Giyate, passive form. Agayat, past tense form. Agayat, agayatam. Every word whenever comes. Now, certain other words which we have already learnt them, verbs. Whenever they occur in the sentence, make a practice. Okay. Now let us take for example, like that first sentence, Ramo Ravanam Ajayat. If you break it, Sandhi, Ramo Ramaha Ravanam Ajayat, because the A is there. A comes. Ajayat means, Ajayat is what is the verb? Ji Jayate. Ji Jayati. Now let us say Ji Jayati, present tense. Jayati, Jayataha, Jayanti. Passive wise. Jiyate, Jiyate, Jiyanti. Is conquered. Past tense Ajayat. Each one ki 3 forms. First one chapter do little practice. Then later becomes easy. The first chapter, 1 or 2 chapters ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ later it becomes easy. Otherwise if you skip them, later becomes every word looks new to you. It should not look new. So Ajayat, Ajayatam, Ajayan, Ajayat, Gedda. He conquered, he won. Okay, next. Sita Godavariyas Tiram Agachat. Agachat, let us say. Gachati, Gachataha, Gachanti, present tense. Gamyate, Gamyete, Gamyante, passive voice. Agachat, Agachatam, Agachan, Agachaha, Agachata, Agacham, Agachava, Agachama, Agachat. Agachat andre he did not go, and don't seeing the A, don't think negatively. Agachat means he went, she went. Sita Agachat, Sita went. Gangayah Jalam Apibam. Bhammala, Apibam. Apibam in these things, what is the verb? Papiba. Papiba. So present tense is Pibati. Pibati, Pibataha, Pibanti. Passive voice Piyate, Piyete, Piyante. Past tense Apibat, Apibatam, Apiban. Your last Apibam, Apibava, Apibama. Jalam Apibam. I drank water. Jalam Apibam. Okay. Like that. Yodho Rausharan Akshipat. Akshipatu dhatu you have to recognize. If you remove the Akshipa. The Kshipa, Kshipati, that you have to remember. Kshipati present tense. Kshipyate passive voice. Akshipat, Akshipatam, Akshipan, like that. If you practice first 1 chapter, then the past tense becomes familiar to you. Then it becomes easy. Because now this is a Parasmai Pada we are learning. When you learn the Atmane Pada, you have to learn 2 things. One is present tense change it to Atmane Pada. Then every verb change it to passive. Passive verb Atmane Pada. Past tense again. Passive past tense. Past passive tense. See, Giyate is sung. This again you have to make past tense. Agiyata, we have not learned, we'll learn that. Therefore, when you learn the Atmane Pada form, you have to learn the Atmane Pada will be changed into past tense. Then passive voice also can be changed into past tense. 2 forms are there. Then you see how many forms you get it. One present tense changing to passive. Then passive change to past tense. Then present tense changing to past and passive changing to past. Each verb you have to learn 2 to 3 forms, 4 forms. First 1 or 2 chapters you learn, then it becomes easy. Because vocabulary builds up. As I told you. Builds up more and more. That's why within 1 book he covers a lot of Sanskrit. It looks at this much alone, such a small book and 30 lessons alone. What Sanskrit? With this 30 lesson, how much you can learn? You finish the 31, you can see them. Whatever I speak, you learn. You understand. I just speak, you understand. All talks, everything, discussions, everything can be done. A few tenses, a few places you get stuck because the other conjugations are there, a few places, but you can guess them even then. You can guess them. But if you learn the second also consists of again 30 lessons, 30, 60 lessons over within 2 to 3 months. In 3 months, everything you learn. You can learn any language. Whole Sanskrit is easy. Can you imagine Sanskrit is so easy? Within 3 months you learn, you can learn anybody you understand. It becomes easy. Okay. So you do the translation. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om. Unnecessarily